So let's fire this workflow. I have here the operator console opened with all the steps I showed you earlier. So what we are going to do is initiate the update. And this is the workflow I'm mentioning. And normally, in a highly automated scenario, this could be a monitoring of a change request created by Service Manager. But for now, we're gonna simplify this demo and just paste, not this. We're gonna paste something else. We're gonna paste the update number in here, and want to make sure that this is the correct update. And again, you could extend this scenario by enumerating the applicable updates to a specific host. We're gonna specify the WSUS approval group, which is cluster group 1 in my scenario, in my case, and Chewy is my Hyper-V host, which I'm going to target. So let's initiate the workflow. It is 10 minutes to 9 in the evening, so I'm monitoring whether a new policy has been created, or an instance I should say. And what you see now here by this representation here is that the workflow has already completed the verification of whether that host is valid, whether the update is valid. So that data has been passed. So it's currently running the drain host workflow. So let's quickly switch back to Virtual Machine Manager. So right now Opalis is controlling or executing an instruction to Virtual Machine Manager, which you are seeing right here, targeted to this host. So now you see that the Hyper-V host has been set into maintenance mode, which is triggering the live migration of my 2 running VMs. So here you can see already one VM under migration, so that will be migrated to my second Hyper-V cluster node, which is called Yoda. And as soon as that has been completed, my second VM will be migrated as well. So you can see here that the first VM already has been moved, and we're about to migrate the second virtual machine, which is under migration currently. And when that's complete, we're going to verify that all VMs have been moved off and put the Hyper-V host into maintenance mode. So you will see that shortly happening. So my VMs have been migrated. So both are seeing a different Hyper-V host, and you can see that my host has been set into maintenance mode. So my Opalis workflow will double check. Let's take a look at my running workflow. So the second workflow has been initiated, so draining of the host, and my Opalis workflow is going to make sure that there are absolutely no running VMs anymore on that host, because that would be a very bad experience when I patch that host and it is performing a reboot. So you can see that we're currently verifying that. We already created as well the array I mentioned, and we just published the VM array back to Opalis. So let's take a look at my second workflow, which will be shortly initiated. And here we go. The third workflow has been initiated. We are updating. Are going to update the host. So let's take a look at the workflow. So a new workflow has been created, and it is currently already have approved the updates. So let's quickly switch over to WSUS and see whether the approve indeed has been The update indeed has been improved, so let's switch back to WSUS, my WSUS system. So this is empty, so if Opalis has done the workflow correctly, if I click on refresh, there should be appearing 2 updates in this section. Here we go. We are seeing 2 updates because the update is applicable for a Itanium system, and it is applicable for an x64 system, which I'm currently running. So the update has been improved. So let's take a look back at the Opalis workflow. And we already have forced my host to check for for whether there is a new update applicable. So let's take a look whether the host already have that update installed. It is a small update, so it might be already happening. So I'm clicking refresh. So I'm filtering for this update, which I've targeted. So let's hit refresh. And the update is not there yet, so we need to wait a couple of seconds. And let's take a look at the Opalis workflow where it is. So it's still because I've integrated some looping here so that I make sure that I check multiple times whether the update has been successful. So while we are waiting for that update to complete, I promise you to take a look at the SQL query. So WSUS needs well, if you want to realize this scenario, you cannot use the Windows internal database because that will not allow you to have remote queries against that against the WSUS database. So what I've done, I've installed SQL Server. You could install the Express edition, but I've installed SQL Server 2008 here, and what I've use are 2 queries actually, and this is the first query I'm using to verify whether the approval has been successful. And when I hit on execute, you will see the result here, below here, and that should return 2 rows. There we go. And you can see that the cluster group 1, which is my approval group, with the specific update have a action of install. So this is good. So the update is ready for the host to be retrieved and to be installed. The second query I'm utilizing further on is is to verify what the install state is of the state actually of the update. In this example, I hard-coded my host name, but within my Opalis workflow, of course, it is dynamic and it is a variable. So this should return a state. So if I hit execute, you will see below here the state appearing, and I need to verify that this is correct. Let's see. Here we go. Execute this. And it currently has a state of 0. So state of 0 means, and let me cheat a bit by showing you the states, that it is currently unknown. So WSUS does not have knowledge about whether it's applicable, not applicable, it is installed, and this is because the host needs to return its state or its compliance state back to WSUS. So let's wait a couple seconds for this. So let me retry that again. Let me try to execute. So we are actually waiting for the host to return the state. So in the meantime, let's give another check whether the update has been installed. Here we go. The update has been installed, but this is the challenge. So now the host which I'm patching is patched, and the patch has been installed, but we need to return the state back, all the compliance state back to the WSUS server, and that's the part we are waiting on. So let's give it a couple of seconds. And while we wait for that, we are going to switch back to the Opalis workflow and see how that is doing. Or we can just execute the same query which is Opalis automatically doing for me. So let's hit execute, and it still hasn't returned. Oh, here we go. So I hope you just saw that changing to from 2 zeros to a 1 and a 4. So if I cheat back and look at the state, I can see that state 4 is actually the installed state. So now the WSUS database is up to date and has received the status from the Hyper-V host. So let's switch back to the workflows. So this is about to complete. Because I have a loop in here which eventually is going to check for that state, and let me show you that. So we are in update the host part, and we are verifying the update installation. And this is actually the same SQL query I just showed you, with the difference that of course I don't have hard-coded names in here. So I'm leveraging the Opalis databus to have the host name being checked with the update number, and I'm filtering on state is 4. This is exactly what you've seen in SQL Management Studio. So that's a good way to test your queries within SQL Management Studio and then importing them in Opalis. And the same goes for PowerShell scripts. Do check them first. With the PowerShell command utility or the console to have them checked. So let's take a look whether my workflow is still running. So we are going to give that a couple of seconds. So any minute now it can proceed to the next check, which is check for pending reboot. Let's wait a couple seconds for that. Okay, the update host workflow has just completed. The check for pending reboot has also completed, and now we are about to move the VMs back to original place. So let's quickly take a look at Virtual Machine Manager. So the host has been taken out of maintenance mode. So that just completed a couple of seconds ago, and now we are moving the VMs back to their original state, as you can see. So both are under migration, and we are initiating the second migration. So let's take a look back at the workflow. We're still moving the VMs back. Just to show you this. This has been passed to Virtual Machine Manager. This is the last VM, and we're done. So this will stop the workflow. It's just about to close down the workflow. And if I had the Service Manager integration pack or the Service Manager integration scenario, this will also make sure that the change request has put on a status of completed and close down the change request and notified a user through email or other notification subscriptions. So my workflow has completed successfully, and this is also the end of my demonstration. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Thank you.